Welcome, we're gonna go meet with Sky. I invite you to join me for a riveting round of wizard chess, but it appears you're in the middle of something. How's it on? So, Whippety catches flies the way you catches croffles. You want to see me? Is everything alright? We need to talk. As you know, the Quidditch Cup final is fast approaching, thanks to our winning house match against Slytherin. There's a good chance Gryffindor will be competing for the championship this year. It's been an unusual season, to say the least. How do you feel about the team's chances for the final match? I'm proud of the work we have done so far, but there's still much to do before we are ready for the final match. And while we might have luck on our side, thanks to the legendary snitch of Hogsmeade, we can't rely on good luck alone to win the Quidditch Cup. Something tells me you have an idea in mind to improve our prospects. As a matter of fact, I do. My dad, Ethan Parkin, has offered to help the team. And even though you didn't mind when I invited him to help us last time, I wanted to come back speak with you to see if you think the team would benefit. That's a generous invitation. Let's discuss. There's a lot to consider when it comes to whether Ethan should help us train. He may be self-absorbed, but he's also a great Quidditch player and a terrific coach. It did get us into a bit of trouble when we received your dad's help earlier in the season, because Ravenclaw felt we were gaining an unfair advantage. Suppose they do make a fair point, seeing as we won the first house match against them. There's a way we can take your dad up on his offer and still be fair to the other teams. Last time the other teams were upset because we got to train with him. But maybe this time around, we could invite the other houses to join us for your dad's training session. Exactly, I think it's a solution that everyone can be happy about. You have convinced me. I just hope the rest of our team will be happy about this solution. Let's go talk to the team and assemble our teammates for practice. Do you ever dream that you are endlessly chasing a golden snitch? Stop beating around the bush and tell us what this is all about. The whole team's here and assembled for practice, so now you can tell them your big idea. Listen up, you lot. Your acting captain has something important to say. I'll like to have a team meeting and discuss the future of our season. Ethan Parkin has offered to return to train us for the Quidditch Cup final. And he was very helpful during the last Quidditch Cup final when he taught us the power play. But in the past, the other teams thought our training sessions with Sky's dad were unfair. That's a bit rubbish in it. Sent a Warren to the hospital win. Now that's what's truly unfair. Your acting captain hasn't finished talking yet. Do you believe our previous training with my dad was actually unfair advantage? I think both teams are guilty of some unfair practices. Getting sent to the hospital win before our first match of the season. But we also did have the unfair advantage of consulting with a professional. That's a good point. I suppose we all can work harder to be fair. That's why this time I'd like to try a different approach. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, I think I have an idea. Please allow me to explain. So in order to make things more fair for all, instead of asking Sky's dad to train Gryffindors alone, promise that we ask Parkin to help train up all the Quidditch teams. One thing for sure, that would certainly level the pitch. We will still be able to train with the great Ethan Parkin of the Wigtown Wanderers. With Mr. Parkin as our trainer, we are sure to become stronger players. But for this plan to work, there's still one very important thing that needs to be done. We need to get all the other houses, teams on board as well. I'll go round up the other team captains and see if I can recruit them to train with us. To have ourselves an old-fashioned hot pound and friendly. Here for business. Butterbeer booth. Yeah, haven't seen a pot full of puffskins around here, have ya? You are here, we are here, let's talk. I'm very curious what this is all about. It's not every day we get invaded to fraternize with that enemy. Thank you all for agreeing to meet me here under such mysterious circumstances. Once you hear what this is all about, you'll be glad you came. Ethan Parkin has offered to help train Gryffindor for the Quidditch Cup final, and in the spirit of fairness, my teammates and I would like to extend his invitation to all 4 houses, inviting us to train together. That's highly unusual. We are opponents after all. If our teams wind up competing against each other in the Quidditch Cup final. If we all train with Parkin, we'll be better players, and it will make for a more exciting final match. More opportunities for my bludgers to do some damage. Right, I like it. Parkin's a great player. We can learn from him. I'm surprised your whole team is willing to let us join. Suspicious that Gryffindor is trying to pull one over on us. Let's talk it through then. I know our teams have had the differences in the past, but if getting suspended this season taught us one thing. I believe you. We have trained together before, so I agree that we both came out stronger in the end. Bat throwing maneuver last season, you trained me to become a great beater. I'm still way better at boomstick pull-ups than you are though. You'll have to see about that. Tell your team that Ravenclaw accepts your invitation. That's smashing news. My Gryffindor teammates will be excited to hear it. What about the rest of you? Will you train with us? But after hearing your proposal, it does sound genuine and fair. Our teams have had differences in the past, but I'd like to put those behind us. Vouchers for you and your team, then count Hufflepuff and Slytherin in. Though it does occur to me, our training sessions may be a bit too crowded with all 4 teams on the pitch. Perhaps we should break into 2 groups of our training sessions with Mr. Parkin. Gryffindor will practice with Ravenclaw. We'll meet you on the pitch and for a spot of training with Ethan Parkin. It's my hope that Dad focuses on training this time and not himself. Alright, Ravenclaw held up our end of their bargain by joining up you for practice. Now where's Mr. Parkin? Mr. Parkin should be here any moment to begin our training session. Good, our team could use the lift after our recent performance. We got absolutely gutted by Hufflepuff. Our other Tosh, our keeper, may as well have been on holiday. Think it may have been the cost of us our chance at the Quidditch Cup this year. But at the very least, training with Parkin will help us prepare for the next season. Speaking of Mr. Parkin, who he is now. What a wonderful feeling to be back at Hogwarts, sitting foot on this pitch again. Thank you so much for agreeing to help us train and for sharing your Quidditch skills with the other 4 houses. I quite enjoy molding you impressionable students into formidable Quidditch players. The start of your season, I told you about the elements which acts as the thread that binds us all together. Do you remember what it is? Teamwork is the thread that binds us. Without teamwork, there can be no team. That's why to begin our training, I'll first need to observe your teamwork, suit up into two groups, and we'll see how well you all play together. Excellent. After observing your teamwork, it's plain to see both teams are working very well together. What's that supposed to mean, Mr. Parkin? That you're all anticipating each other's moves. Well, Morphy did recently teach us how to do that. It's proven a very effective maneuver when used against your opponents, to be sure, but it will cost you the Kurdish Cup if you allow your opponents to use it upon you. But how can we guard against our opponents anticipating our moves? Unfortunately, you can't, but you can have or use their own instincts against them with a fake-out maneuver. The keeper pretends to leave the goal undefended to lure in the opposing chaser. Why don't you give it a try? See if you can prevent Sky from scoring a goal against you. Use the fake-out maneuver. I think I've got the hang of it. Thanks for teaching me the fake-out maneuver. Now, when your my opponents try to anticipate my moves, that fake-out move may have worked on me once, but good luck tricking me a second time. What in the name of Bones, dude? Holy shit, there's all the gnomes. Look out behind you, the Kurdish pitch is being invaded by a horde of gnomes. But you're going to have to try a lot harder than that. I'm not trying to fake you out, the pitch is being taken over by gnomes. We better go alert Madam Hooch immediately. What's going on? Based solely on Madam Hooch's expression, I calculate the odds of this announcement going well at 14.6%. I wish I were coming to you with better news today, but it's been brought to my attention. Held by Gryffindor Ravenclaw was interrupted by a horde of gnomes. Unfortunately, our Quidditch pitch is now suffering from an all-out gnome infestation. We have no choice but to suspend all Quidditch matches. That would mean no, it can't be. That means there's a good chance the Quidditch Cup final will be suspended as well. She said there was a good chance she'll be cancelling it. We worked so hard to get this far, and now there might not be even a final match. That would be devastating for players and fans alike, not to mention terrible for team morale. Let's check in with our friends. Silence, everyone, please settle down. I understand why you are feeling disheartened, but I too saddened by the troublesome development. But we mustn't lose hope, for I have found that those who do not accept their fates are often destined to change it. Something we can do to save the Quidditch Cup. This whole season has been full of really difficult challenges, and wound up getting suspended too, but every time a new obstacle got in our path, we found a way to press on. This is just like the latest obstacle for us to overcome. There's no way we can just give up now that we have all come so far as a team. Now that we have decided to save the Quidditch Cup final, all we need to do is figure out where to start.